everyone, so today I'm going to show you how to make this cute little octopus. There's a couple of things you need, but before we get started, you need to know that this video will not stop, so you need to stop and pause it as you need. So this is just going to be one continuous video for this project. So this is our cute little guy. We do need some supplies today. You will need a pencil. You'll need a pair of scissors. You will need a glue stick or glue or some form of adhesive. So if you have glue stick, that's great. If you don't have a glue stick but you have tape, that'll work as well. You will need colors. I'm going to use color crayons today. You're going to need 2 pieces of paper. One mostly to color onto, the other one will actually make our octopus. So we're going to start with our single piece of paper today, and you want it going the long way. So we're going to take it, we're going to act like we're going to fold it in half, but we are not going to quite make it in half. We are going to stop with about 2 fingers left. So take my 2 fingers, I'm going to give myself about 2 fingers width of room, and I'm going to crease my paper. So half of this, or one part of this piece will be the body, one part of this piece will make the legs, as well as our eyes and our little hat here. So I have folded it. I have my 2 fingers worth of little strip. Now I'm going to take that little strip and I'm going to fold it over the piece that I just did. So that is going to be folded. Now I'm going to open up my paper. I'm going to refold that little piece back over so that I know what I'm doing with it. And then I'm going to cut this part off. So here's where scissors come in handy. I'm going to take and I'm going to cut this part. So this part will become our body. This part will become our legs. We're going to set this to the side right now. Going to take my scrap paper, which is actually just a plain piece of paper for me. I'm going to turn my paper so it is going the long way again. My shorter piece of paper that I just cut off that is going the long way. I'm going to pick a color from my color crayon box. And I'm going to color this whole rectangle. Now, you want to color fairly even. Otherwise it's going to look like your octopus has stripes. I don't know that you necessarily want your octopus to have stripes. But you can choose whatever color you want for your octopus. This one is at the request of my almost 4-year-old, Sawyer. He told me after seeing mine yesterday that he wanted a blue octopus, so I'm going to make him a blue octopus. Now if you notice, I'm making a mess at the edge of my paper. That is why I have a piece of paper underneath, because I do not want to have to clean up crayon off of my table. And I'm just going over this one a little bit more, just a second time, just to make sure it's got enough color for it. Then I'm going to rotate my paper, because I am right-handed, so it's always easier for me to work on the right-hand side. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. It's always easier for you to work on whatever side you're on, your hand is. Your dominant hand, anyway. So, just about finished with my blue. If you are not finished coloring yours, okay, pause the video. Not a problem, just pause the video. Now, do not put this color away, we're going to need it in just a second. So, here is my body of my octopus. I'm going to set it to the side for right now because we're done with it for a little bit. We are going to be moving on to our leg piece. So this is my other piece. What I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to take my 2 fingers. Here's where I need my pencil. And I'm going to make just a little mark right above my 2 fingers. So see that little mark? That little mark is going to be where I am going to fold. So I'm going to fold on that little mark and I'm going to crease my paper. And then I am going to cut along that fold and cut this little piece off. So I'm going to cut along that fold, and I'm going to cut that little piece off. Now, do not throw that away. That's going to be our eyes and your eye patch if you want an eye patch, or your hat, your choice. So, do not throw this away. Set it to the side. This one, you have a decision to make now. This, when it folds over, is going to be the top of your octopus legs. The other side is going to be the bottom. Now you can choose to make both the same color. If you look really close at mine, this is a darker purple color than the top. So I colored the bottom a darker color than the top. So this is why I said keep out your crayon, because you're going to need it still. We are not going to color anything on this fold. We want to keep that nice and clean. So I'm going to take my same color blue and I'm going to color the top side of my octopus's legs. So coloring the top side. Making sure it's nice and colored. Now, I do recommend doing color crayons for this project, just simply because if you're doing marker, this is going to take you a lot longer. And you're going to have to wait for your paper to dry. Oops. I'll turn my paper and that'll make this one easier. Hopefully I don't do just that and make wrinkles in my paper. So, coloring. As you can see, I'm making a mess, so that's why I have my extra paper, so that that mess is on the paper and not my dining room table. Okay, so this is the top side. You see that it matches. You can hear Sawyer talking in the background. You can see that they match. That's a good thing. Now I'm going to turn my paper over. This is going to be the underside of my legs, and I'm going to put it as a different color. I'm going to do it as a lighter blue. So I'm going to take and I'm going to color this one all that lighter blue. Now, if you're not done, when I'm done, make sure you're pausing the video. Don't just continue to let it run, because you'll miss your steps. Rotate my paper, continuing the color. There we go. Now my edge is colored. Okay, so if you look at this, I might have to, let me adjust my light. There you go. You can see that there's a difference in color. If I turn it back over, you can tell that those two match. So the next thing we're going to do, we're still going to take and we're going to leave our body part at the top. We're going to take this piece of paper. We're going to start to fold it. So first off, we're going to fold it in half. Does not matter which side is on the inside, as long as you know that you're going to eventually match your outside to your outside. So I fold it in half. Because we're going to fold this so many times, it is easier if I just take the top layer and I fold it down. So it folds just that one side in half. And then I turn it over and I do the same thing to the other side. Fold just that one layer down. Because we're going to be making 8 sections that are the same, and so once you start to get too many layers with paper, they don't end up as equal. So now I'm going to take just that top layer, just that same top layer, I'm going to fold it in half again. I'm going to turn it over, and then I'm going to fold that in half again. So when I open up this piece, I will have 8 different sections. And yes, we're going to count them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need 8 sections because we have an octopus with 8 legs. Now, it may be beneficial to you to fold all of them so they are going all the same direction. It may not. It depends on you and your preference. I'm going to fold all of mine so they're going the same direction. It just makes it a little easier for me to cut. So when we cut, we're only going to cut the colored part. We will not be cutting this white stuff. So you're going to cut up each of your folds to the colored part. Just to the colored part. So just where you use your crayon or your marker or your colored pencil. So I cut up that fold. Gives me one leg. I stop when I get to the top. Gonna do the same thing with this one. Cut up the fold. Stop when I get to the white. Cut up the fold. Stop when I get to the white. Cutting up the fold. Stopping when I get to the white. Couple more left to go. Cutting up the fold. Again, stopping. Last two. And again, if you are not finished cutting yours, pause the video. Cutting up the fold. Okay. Now comes the important part. We need to make sure that our colors match. So, for me, these two colors match. If I turn it over, those two colors do not match. So you want to have your matching colors up. We are going to take and we're going to put some glue on the white part. We're going to take our octopus body and we're going to line it up with that fold. We're going to glue it there. You're going to notice that you're going to have hangover. That's okay, we want that. So you're going to have a little bit of hangover on the body where it does not cover with the legs, which is totally okay. So I'm going to take my glue stick. This is also why I have scrap paper underneath. Because if I'm doing this, am I going to get my table gluey? Yes, always do. Okay, so I've got glue on my legs. I'm going to take and I'm going to stick my body. I'm going to line it up right over where I stopped making my legs cut. I'm going to glue it. I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to turn it over. And I'm just going to make sure that I push down nice and good on this part. Then I'm going to set it up out of the way for a few minutes and let that set, let that dry. So what are we going to do while we're doing that? While that's drying, we're going to use this piece to make our eyes. So we already have an eye piece right here. So with this fold, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to keep this folded. So it is still the two pieces of paper, and I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to keep this though, don't throw this away because this is going to be his hat. So I have two choices right now. I can make him like this one and have an eye patch and an eye, or I can have him have two eyes. That is your choice. I'm going to make one with an eye patch and one with an eyeball. So I am going to take my two pieces of paper and I'm going to cut on that fold and I'm going to cut off or cut them apart into two squares. One of them is going to be my eye. So I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to very carefully draw a circle or an oval shape. Now, it does not have to be perfect. So there's my circle or my oval shape. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut it out. Now, if I wanted to make both of my eyes the same, I would have left it together. I would have drawn my eyes and then I would have cut through both pieces at the same time. But I want to make mine different. So, there's my eye. This is our first piece of scrap. We can throw that in the garbage can in just a minute. Now, this one, I'm going to draw a U on. So, just a U because that is the shape of my eye patch. So I'm going to leave the top the way it is. I'm going to draw a line that comes down and curves. Do the same on the other side that comes down and curves. And then I'm going to cut that. Now the reason I am cutting before coloring is because we're going to do these in black. And when you color black over your pencil, you tend to lose your pencil mark. So we want to make sure that we don't lose our pencil mark. So these two little pieces of paper are now also my scrap. Okay, so I have my circle, I have my eye patch. Now I need to dig in here and find my black. There it is. So my black. I'm going to turn my eye patch over just because I want to make sure I don't have any of the pencil showing. And I'm going to color it with my black color crayon. Now, if you want this to be super dark, color it in two different directions with your black. That will make it darker. So if you color it at an angle your first time, color it at the other angle your second time. If you color it up and down the first time, color it side to side the second time. Just change your directions for your second one. You probably will have to hold your paper down in several places, otherwise it's going to fold up and crinkle on you, as you can see mine is. So there is my eye patch. Next one is going to be my eye, and I'm going to turn it over as well. And then I'm going to draw a curved line for my eyeball. Now, if you want to do this in pencil first, you can. I'm just going with it with my crayon. And then I'm going to color it in black. Okay, so there is my eye. There is my eye patch. I'm going to turn my octopus body over, so we're now looking at the front, all colored. We're going to glue these down onto our octopus body before we make our octopus round. So I'm going to turn my eye patch over, I'm going to turn my eyeball over, I'm going to put some glue on the back. So eye patch, and we'll stick it on. You don't want to stick it way up at the top, you want to stick it more down a little bit, because that's where his face is going to be. If you stick it way up at the top, it's going to look like his eyes are in his forehead. Then I'm going to do my eyeball, pull it off. Now, you may be thinking our eye patch is kind of floating there, and it is. So we need to do the eye patch part right now. So the eye patch, I don't know, string I guess you'd call it. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to draw two lines with my black crayon. I'm just going to color up. Then I'm going to do the same on this side. I'm going to come out a little different. Okay, so there's my eye patch. Now it's time to turn our octopus over. We're going to put glue on one of these edges. So glue. And then I'm going to put the glue side over my color crayon side. I want to make it so that it overlaps, but I also want to make it so that my legs touch each other and form full circle. So I'm going to bring this fold edge up here that I can see. I'm going to move it as close to where I need it to be, that I can tell. And I'm going to look and see, is there a space right there? If I have a giant space, hang on, I'll show you what a giant space would look like. There we go. If I have a space like this, that's not okay. We want to scoot them together. So move them closer so that they are lined up nice and good. And then you're just going to stick it together. Stick your fingers on the inside, rub together. So here's majority of our octopus. We still got to do his legs. We'll curl his legs in just a minute. So while this is kind of drying a little bit, we are going to make his hat. So if you have done the captain hat, or you've paid attention in Zoom and you've done the treasure chest with me, this should be super easy for you. because we're going to take that last little scrap of paper and we're going to turn it into our hat. First thing we're going to do, we're going to fold it in half. And that's just so that our hat is equal on both sides. In your captain's hat and in our treasure chest, you came up on the side. So this is my open side right here. My open side. I'm going to come up. I'm going to make a little bit of a horizontal line. A little bit of that horizontal line. Let me scoot my camera down really quick so you can see it. So I've got just a little horizontal line here. I'm going to come up here to the top, and I'm going to make just a little horizontal line almost at the top of my paper. So we're just going to draw one side, because then we're going to cut it, and then they're going to be the same. So from this line, I'm going to come out, going to kind of drop it down, curve it over, and curve it out. Now, if I don't like that curve quite there, I can come down and smooth it out a little bit. And it's not really going to matter because this is going to be cut off. So it's scissor time. I'm going to take my scissors. I'm going to cut right on that line. And this is going to give me two sides that are exactly the same. Two sides that are exactly the same. So that is now our scrap. I'm going to open up my hat, and here's my cute little hat. Now, to color our hat, I'm going to do a yellow border. Actually, I'm going to use my dandelion color because I like that color a little better. Then I'm going to make my hat, we'll go indigo. Indigo is just a little darker blue. So I'm going to give it a yellow border at the top. So just along that top edge, I'm going to color a yellow line. Now, if you want to add a pirate face to your hat, you can. I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it as a hat. I don't want to put the pirate face on it. So just leave it as the hat. So there's my yellow brim, or my yellow border, and then I'm going to take my indigo color, and it's a kind of a violet blue color. I'm going to color up to my yellow. I'm not going to color over my yellow unless it's an accident. I just color up to my yellow. So there is my cute little hat. Now you need to figure out where you want to put it on your octopus. So I'm going to stick mine right over here. Just right there. You could stick yours over on this side. You could stick yours in the middle. I'm going to stick mine kind of off to the side at a little bit of an angle. So I'm going to stick some glue on the back of it. Just in the center, because that's all that's going to attach to my octopus. And then I'm going to stick it on my octopus kind of at an angle. There we go. So there is my hat on my octopus. And the last thing we need to do is curl around our legs, or curl our legs up. Now there's a couple of different ways you can do this, depending on how tight of a curl you want. You can use something bigger, and you'll get a looser curl. So I tried my Marks A Lot marker, my nice big fat one, and you get a real loose curl. I also tried my 5-point Sharpie, and I got a loose curl too. I don't recommend using your wooden pencil, especially if it's got the different sides to it, because then you're going to put those marks into your octopus. What actually worked really well was curling around a color crayon. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a color crayon, you're going to line it up with the edge of your leg, and you're just going to keep it nice and tight, and then you're just going to roll it up. And it's okay if it doesn't quite roll up exact in a straight line. But you're going to roll it up, and you're going to hold it for about a count of 3. And then you're going to pull your crayon out, and let go of your leg. And it'll look better in just a minute when I've done all of them. So again, you're going to roll up your octopus leg. You're going to hold it for a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to pull out your color crayon. So 6 more times. Rolling up my octopus leg. Around my color crayon. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to pull that out. Again, rolling up to my octopus top. When I get there, I'm going to hold it for a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Open it up. Okay, next. Halfway there. This is 4 more left to go, counting this one. Rolling it up. Counting to 3. 1, 2, 3. Pulling it out, letting it go. Same thing with this one. I'm almost done. Almost done. One, 2, 3, and then last one. Here he comes. Okay, now, if you remember, this is the first one I did, and it's already relaxed a little bit. So, as your octopus sits there for a little bit, your tentacles will still remain curled, but they're going to relax out a little bit. So it's okay. You don't have to keep them super tight. But I found that this looked a whole lot better when it was done than when I tried to do it with my big marker or even my middle-sized marker. So here is our cute little octopus. I want you to go ahead and take a picture of yours. I can't wait to see how yours turned out. So take a picture of it, stick it in your assignment, and turn it in. And I will see you guys later this week. Bye.